Hello, and welcome to the Marietta Police Department's Don't Be a Victim series. Since the invention of the World Wide Web, predators have used the internet to prey on victims anonymously and within the comfort of their home. They can learn things about you and your family that you may not want known, and it is important to know what to do to shield these bad guys from you and your family. Today, cyber specialist Abby Lucas and crime analyst Caitlin Weber will show you what to look for and how to protect yourself while on the web.
My function is to utilize social media for investigative purposes as well as intelligence gathering.
A crime analyst pretty much determines any patterns, any trends that are occurring in crime incidents, and I also look into subjects that we believe may be responsible for the incidents. A large portion of the information comes from public records that are now online and also through social media sites and public information.
It absolutely is a freedom, and it's a right that every individual possesses, and it is a great way for them to express themselves. However, being more likely to say things online that you wouldn't necessarily in person, that's where people get it confused. They think that if they can put it online, people won't notice it or won't read it or will not call them out on it.
We've seen a large increase in people understanding that they're anonymous online, or rather thinking that they're anonymous online, and therefore they take advantage of that. It's much harder to go and rob someone in person and have evidence left on the scene than it is to do it online.
I would say probably one of the biggest problems is that it doesn't go away. A lot of people think that if they post something and then they go and delete it, it's completely gone forever, when that is very far from the truth. A big thing that people talk about is their digital footprint and what they're leaving online, their legacy, if you will. They think that if they post a picture and they delete it, that it's gone, but actually it's not. It's cached data, it's on a server somewhere. A lot of these social media sites actually archive all information that has ever been posted. Even though people go and delete it and they think it's gone, it's actually being archived somewhere, or it's being cached data somewhere and it's on a search engine. So when you go and Google someone's information, it could be archived or cached and you still see the image that you think at one point you deleted. Well, it's definitely expanding. I mean, social media forums that were big a year ago are different now and will probably progress and evolve and be something else in the future, in a year or 5 years from now. People are definitely utilizing them to a very heightened extent, especially the younger generation, which is why we really try to emphasize to the younger generation to be as secure as possible, because you don't want anything to come up in your future years when you're going for employment or you're progressing in your career or school, because you don't want anything to come back and haunt you. But it definitely is progressing, and people utilize it. I mean, just about everyone has a digital footprint to some extent. Maybe they don't have social media, but that doesn't mean that they're not online. And if they do, that just increases their digital footprint and increases their online presence.
We see people posting information about their own personal lives, which is what social networking is for. The problem is that they may be posting too much information, and possibly to people that they don't know, without realizing how much they're providing. And this isn't necessarily just people themselves doing it. It's also what their children are posting, what their family members are posting. A lot of kids don't realize that there is a risk online. They will go and post pictures of themselves inside of school, inside of their houses, out in public with their friends. They're providing their names, what schools they're attending, what their schedules are, when their parents are away, and they don't realize how at risk that information could put them. They also it's almost like in person, you're wary of talking to strangers. There's the stranger danger. Online, kids are very susceptible to talking to strangers, whether they're contacted through social media, whether they have followers on certain social media sites. They're constantly talking to strangers and giving them information, showing them pictures of themselves.
Cyber vet anybody that you're having in contact with. Maybe you meet them on a dating website. Maybe they're coming to do some sort of yard maintenance, but look into them. Make sure that you know exactly who you are coming in contact with if you have had only cyber relationships, if you will. So just to be careful, to be safe, responding to emails that you may not know who they came from.
You know, people, it's more that it's almost like going outside. You shouldn't be scared to go outside, but you should be wary of what dangers are out there.
We don't want anyone to feel like they can't be online or they can't have an online presence. What we suggest is for them to just secure themselves, to utilize as many security and privacy settings as possible.
Some social media sites have privacy settings that, if they're done correctly, can provide a lot of restrictions and keep you safer than you are. People just need to utilize them.
Lock everything up, make it limited to friends or family. You don't want anything out there just collecting information about yourself. Anything that's not necessarily secure and private, these search engines, they'll actually pull and extract your information. So if someone goes to just Google your name, if you will, they may see a lot more information about you that you may not want them to see. They may also be pulling from cache data. So you want to be very secure and private and make sure that everything that is online is something that you're going to be okay with and okay with people finding out about you.
Well, that's one of the things, is that a lot of these social media sites are constantly changing or evolving their privacy settings. Making yourself aware, checking in regularly to determine, going to just about every single social media site has a page explaining what their privacy settings are.
Essentially, cache data is what information is being remembered. So even if, say, you have an image on a website and you contact the webmaster and you ask them to delete it, different search engines and search browsers will essentially remember that information, that data, and it will be cached. So even though it may be taken off the site that it was originally hosted on, it still has an online presence.
I think monitoring and having those discussions and conversations with their kids about what is correct online behavior, what they should be aware of, checking to see what pictures their kids are posting, who they're talking to, what information they're giving out to absolute strangers, making sure that they're not talking to anyone that they don't know in real life. Those are all things that parents can continuously be doing.
It's just very important that you have an understanding that anything and everything that you post or upload or comment on, it's there, it can't be deleted, and anyone can see it.
The good part of social media is that it really does what it's supposed to do. It keeps you in touch with your family, it keeps you in touch with your friends, and it really allows you to share a special part of your life. The bad part of it is that it may leave you to be a victim. You have to be very careful about what you're posting. If you wouldn't tell an absolute stranger on the street, why would you tell someone online about it?
Be mindful of what you and your family are posting on social media and know how to use the safeguards and security functions on each site. Remember, your safety is the most important service we can provide you. Until next time, I'm David Baldwin, and don't be a victim.